We spend our lives chasing things like happiness or success. But what if the real goal is something way more urgent? What if the point of it all was to die empty? It's a pretty intense thought, I know, but it's also an incredible call to creation. And we're about to dive in to exactly why.
So our journey starts with this really provocative line. The most valuable real estate in the world is the graveyard. That sounds weird, right? I mean, we think of it as a place of endings, not value. But the real meaning here, well, it has nothing to do with the land itself.
The real value is all the potential that's buried there. Just stop and imagine it for a second. Millions of books that could have changed the world, just half-written. Ideas that could have solved huge problems but were never launched. Talents that people had that were never, ever developed. That is the real treasure that's just locked away in the ground.
And that gets to the heart of this quiet tragedy, right? Most people die with their greatest work still inside them. Their songs, their inventions, their art, their wisdom, it's just gone. So, what's the alternative? How do you avoid that?
Well, that brings us right to the core of this whole thing, the die empty philosophy. And the mission is actually pretty simple, even though it's a lifelong challenge. The goal is to get it all out, to leave absolutely nothing left in the tank when your time is up. This isn't some one-time thing, It's a constant process. And it starts by realizing that any idea that's just rattling around in your head is only potential energy. It has to get out. It has to actually escape the four walls of your own mind and into reality. And that right there, that's the most crucial step. Because an idea only becomes valuable when it's made real, when it's written or built or launched, when it finally exists outside of you.
So when you start thinking this way, it kind of forces a choice. It makes you look at how you spend your time, your energy, and it suggests that everything really boils down to two fundamental identities. Are you a consumer or are you a creator?
And wow, the difference is night and day. On one side, you have the consumer. They probably haven't actually created anything in years because, well, they're too busy consuming. They'll see something amazing and think, yeah, I could do that. But then you have the creator. They haven't had much time to consume because they are so busy creating. They don't just think about it, they actually did it. So how can you tell the difference in your own life? Which one are you? Well, it turns out there's a really simple test, and it all comes down to the huge gap between talking and actually doing. Okay, picture this. You're walking through a modern art gallery. You've definitely heard someone, or maybe even thought it yourself, look at a piece and say with a little bit of a scoff, "Oh, come on, I could do that." But here's the punchline. The whole thing in a nutshell. They didn't. And that's it. That's literally the entire difference. It's not about what you could do. It's about what you did. Potential means nothing. Action is everything. Look, what this all boils down to is that calling yourself a writer, or an artist, or an entrepreneur, that doesn't make it true. Your creative identity isn't about your amazing potential. It's about your output. In the end, all that really matters is what you've actually launched. And that brings us to the most important part of all of this. Because this isn't just some cool idea to think about. Nope, it's a direct challenge. It's a personal call to action. For you. So now the question gets turned right back to you. Which life do you really want? The one where you're just passively consuming all the stuff that other people have made, or the one where you are actively creating and adding something new to the world? But let's push that question even one step further. It's not just about an identity you pick. It's about the action you're going to take. So the real urgent question is this. What will you create? What book, what business, what piece of art, what thing are you going to get out of your head and into the world? In the end, it all comes back to this powerful two-word manifesto. It's a philosophy for a life filled with purpose. It's a challenge to leave nothing on the table. It's a final, urgent call to action to give all of your gifts to the world. Die empty.